I'm excited for well, I guess we can say it now. It keeps coming out. So to spoil it, this is a small spoiler for the new Flash movie. If you don't want to hear it, I don't care. It's George Clooney is going to show up at the end as Batman. So we're going to have another Batman. It's going to be George Clooney. So take
super
with that,
excited.
do with what you will.
They're multiversing the Batmans, which they always should have. And I think, as we discussed previously, I am excited to see if the Batmobile from George Clooney's era does have nipples on it. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, you told me when you explained to me that, like it's like ribs and like it has this and it's like supposed to be him, an extension of him. And I'm like, does that have any fucking nipples on it? It's just like
it's got to. There's got to be some circles on either the fins or like maybe the taillights, like taillight nipples. Like, and if he shows up, he better bring bat nipples. Because if he doesn't come with bat nipples, I will not accept this as a movie going. John Wass understands saying bring back the bat nipples.
It won't be him.
He had them for 2 movies.
2. And you know what? The crotch shots, the butt shots of Alicia Silverstone, the nipples, none of that bothers me as much as old ass senior citizen Chris O'Donnell playing Robin in the movie. That guy had an AARP card when he put on that costume.
Maybe he'll come out with a rascal this time instead of a bike. Robin will be on one of those sweet little battery carts. Me, you see the shopping malls like, hey kids, I'm gonna get ya. Watch out, crime fighters.
And that was a funny thing. Remember back in the day when I talked about Keaton having a Robin and like, they were talking about Michael J. Fox and they were talking about Marlon Wayans, and I'm like, none of that works.
Yeah,
I was still like, none of that works. Like, you need to have a kid. That's what the whole dynamic is, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, or a younger one. But that's the thing. Or do Nightwing. Exactly. I think Chris O'Donnell's Nightwing would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen that, honestly. I think that would have been a much better. That would have added something to it. Even Nightwing nipples, like that would have been better ad.
Like people, it's funny because nobody says anything about that other than like they didn't like those movies, which I get, but they don't dislike the fact that Robin's in it,
right?
But then they lost their minds during The Dark Knight Rises. It was like, you should go by your real name, Robin, and it's like. It was a nod. I was like, that was nice. That was nice of Nolan to throw it in there. After 3 movies, the guy's clearly going to become Batman. And they nodded it like, it's Robin. Okay, cool, whatever. But you have nothing to say about old potato ears the same age as George Clooney when they made that damn movie? Go to hell. I don't want to hear it. Stupid old man Robin stepping in and just being like, hey, how you doing? Like, I would have been. Now I'm going down.
Keep going. Let it out.
I would have even accepted if he had moved in, and so he moves in. He brings him into the fold. He's Dick Grayson, and he's like, "I want you to be my sidekick." And by the end of it, he's like, "I'm no one's sidekick." And then he goes, and he's got the blue on. It can still be the same suit, but it's the blue. Yep. There's no R there. It's just, and you're like, okay, I lose to Nightwing. Then you get to Batman and Robin, and they're butting heads because they're both Gotham City heroes.
Right.
But they still live together. They still do their thing because, I still don't understand that because he's 900 years old. He could have gotten his own place, but whatever. But
then you could bring in Abigail Breslin to be the new Robin.
Oh my God.
Wild.
Do not. Was it Cara Kelly? I hate you. Oh my God. That's like the one character I really hated.
Yeah, man. Or find someone to come in as Jason Todd.
But even then, like, he left. He went to go do Nightwing. He became a cop. Like, you could have written that in, but they're button heads because they're 2 heroes now. And by the end, he goes off, and now he's Nightwing in another city, like Bloodhaven, or if they wanted to really do it right. Sorry, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but then like he has another ward. Like he didn't adopt any new kid or anything because like he had the falling out with Dick, right? God, this could have been such a better movie. So now you have Nightwing and Batman both doling out justice in their own city, but butting heads because of how to do it.
Right.
And then you have a much darker Batman at that point, and Nightwing, they come together, they have to fight Freeze, but like a good Freeze and a good, like, I'm not rewriting that right now, but you go through.
Ivy and Freeze were really good. All we have to do is just change the outfits a little bit, dequantify some of the
puns. Get rid of those massive amounts of ice puns and
honestly,
puns.
Get rid of half of the puns. That's it. Just half the puns.
Wipe them out.
You can keep Schwarzenegger and you can keep Uma Thurman in both of those roles.
You just make them darker.
Exactly. That's it. Just make them darker. Turn down the neon.
But if you made Batman darker, and the only really light character in it would have been Dick Grayson as Nightwing. Because he's right. And
I like the idea of Batgirl still being in there, though.
Which is fine, because now she comes in, and keep her fine. She's Alfred's American niece? Whatever. I'm out.
It totally works.
Like, how old is his sister? Like, how is his sister 45 years?
It was a different thing. She was adopted.
So Alfred dies. Right? I hate to say it, but this is how you open that movie. Alfred dies. He gets
Does he
killed.
Get shot? How does he die?
I would tie it in some way to Poison Ivy's work.
Okay.
Or the
part of the chemical plant.
Yeah.
The chemical plant. Something finally got her. Out of all the things he's managed to survive, to be this old in a city that's bound and trying to kill you, he has made it this long, going to market every day, because Bruce Wayne always needs his fresh shit. So, I get it. He's toiled and managed to survive, just skipping past like vats of acid. Finally, I hope a stray bullet gets him.
No, I meant it like something they were making that they were testing out on the Venom made its way out, because the whole point of it was to be mass produced, and it's under and because he dies of this thing, that in the same thing you can have the same sort of thing, because that doctor who's played by what's his name, he played Lionel Luthor on Smallville, John Glover.
No, John Glover.
He was so maniacal. Bane sucked, but it'd be great if, like, you could really work it out.
I'll give you this. You can get rid of all the puns and make everything darker. But if you're gonna have Bane, I want Bane from Harley Quinn, who's like, "Oh yes, welcome to Baneton." Oh, the one who, like, they forced to sit on like the little crappy chair.
I got it. You fix Bane a little bit. Like, it's going to be different. I know it's not going to be the comic book version, so everybody shut up. I'm trying to fix what I can. Bane, of course, like they said in the movie, is a what is he? Is a convicted felon who's in prison, and they're testing on the prisoners, right? Mm-hmm. Poison Ivy's the same thing. She was a doctor who went to jail for accidentally poisoning somebody, and they're testing on her. And like all the different tests turn them into different things. So now we get that with Bane and why he's that way. He breaks out. He breaks her out. They're terrorizing the city, right? Yep. Enter Freeze.
Well, and they bump into Freeze during a heist. They're all trying to take down the same bank, and that's when they all link up, and that's when you get their story.
Well, I would make it more Freeze is very successful at what he does. But but it's a mystery. It's kind of like how they treated the Riddler and the Batman. Mm-hmm. It's more of a mystery of how he's going about it and doing it.
Okay.
Now Batman's devolving because Batman's devolving because Alfred's dead. His niece comes to town trying to figure out how he died. She's a reporter because we already don't have her as Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon, right? Yeah. So we can just throw in whatever there. Yep.
So I would, keep her as like maybe a reporter in town and just like kind of a guise. Yeah. She figures out that Bruce is Batman, decides to become Batgirl to take vengeance or whatever, or catch Bane or, and Pamela Isley or Poison Ivy. Sorry, it's like all flying through my head. So this is how I write. So just deal with it.
It's wonderful. That was great.
You get into that. She's now on a vengeance path with Batman because they both believe the same thing, which isn't really the truth. So now you have Dick Grayson as Nightwing,
butting
butting heads with them, because he's trying to say, like, we need to do this a little bit different. You know, he's playing the role of detective.
What if Nightwing is okay? If since he's been taken over, Nightwing has been hell-bent on finding Freeze. That's where their stories kind of collide there,
like,
too.
Yeah, because it's a mystery, so he's the one trying to solve it, whereas Batman is just like trying to take it out on crime everywhere. And he's looking for Bane, he's looking for Poison Ivy, and yeah, that's how they cross. Love that. So that's how you go into that. You have Nightwing kind of coming back. Barbara's like, I'm going off to do this, but I'm doing it on my own. I can't go down this dark path with you. At the end, after they have the talk on a rooftop somewhere, I would imagine, he's like, I'm leaving. I'm transferring. I'm going to another city. But if you're going to be here, you need somebody by your side. And I think I know who. And they look down in an alley, and it's a kid stealing tires. And it's Jason Todd. And that's how you roll into the next one. Now you got Jason Todd.
Now you got Red Hood.
Boom. Boom. You could.
I love it.
You should call me in the 90s.
Right? I mean, Jason made a good point that we literally spent more time plotting this movie than the people that made it. I completely agree. We did. That was pretty impressive, bro. I love doing that with you. We haven't done that in a while. It's always fun.
I will say we do it a lot. We just don't do it on air a lot. Like, we're always picking movies out and like, all right, how would we fix this? And it just kind of goes.
Sometimes accidentally.
I think it's my favorite is, how do we fix this? And then we turn around and we're like, Big Trouble in Little China. No, we don't fix that. That's perfect.
No, it's perfect. Don't touch. You don't touch what ain't broke, folk.
What's up, Diggs? How you doing?
Hey, Diggs.
Thanks for joining in.
It says, great having you.
I would love to see Clint Eastwood play Robin in The Flash. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my God.
You might have already gotten him in the 90s if Chris O'Donnell hadn't done a better.
Scott Eastwood would have been great. I'll take Scott Eastwood in most movies. He's pretty awesome.
He would have been great about 20 years ago as a child.
Oh. If they come in and Damian Wayne is 20, you are going to lose your mind.
If Damian Wayne can drive, I'm going to lose my mind. Mind you, I'm not saying that he doesn't drive.
No.
I'm saying he has a valid driver's license. I'm going to lose my mind. That kid needs to be like 11 or 12.
That's fair. If he's coming in. Yeah. Unless they start where he's been there and it's his first full year as Robin.
And that's fine. If they start that, so 13. It's still like 14, a revelation. Sure. He's starting to get
tingles down there, and he doesn't know how to feel feelings, and he's not sure what relationships are, and he just has a sword and father issues, and it's the whole thing.
He's just gonna murder everyone.
It's bad news. It's bad.
How do you masturbate in this Wayne Manor? Alfred is everywhere.
There are cameras everywhere. There's a back computer AI that yells at me if my bed starts shaking too much.
I could. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this clip. It's from our most recent episode of the Scene Snobs Podcast. You can go check it out now on YouTube or all podcast platforms. Make sure to check us out, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow for more. Take care, everybody.